When I think about the child I got during the war, sometimes I just want to kill him.
Beginning in 1986, the greater north of Uganda, in the heart of Africa, suffered war atrocities for over 2 decades from the Lord's Resistance Army, which devastated the region.
When the LRA rebels found us sitting right under this mango tree, they grabbed the 4 of us and took us with them to the bush.
We saw our people suffering, we saw our people being killed, we saw our people desperate in the camps, and we saw our people still staying with a lot of pain and wounds in them.
The war affected entire communities, specifically young people, in terms of abductions, mutilations, and forced conscription.
I took about 4 months. I was never eating anything to do with meat, not even fish. Because the smell of the blood, the smell of the flesh, what I saw, I say this should be something that the world should act about it.
This involvement produced physical and psychological grievances, which are still having an impact today. During the conflict, the Coptic rebellion abducted
over 66,000 children, according to UNICEF and Save the Children, of which 30,000 have never come back, and their families are waiting in great pain. While being held captive, these children suffered from torture, severe beatings, and mutilation.
At a place called Odek, the LRA rebels came and attacked. They shot me and the bullets remained in my back. They took me to the bush. The men who were there were killed, one at a time, as we watched. They didn't use guns, but either got cut into pieces with a machete or got hit with a big stick. All the 11 men were killed.
Girls and women were abducted, forced into marriage with senior-ranked rebel officers, enslaved, and sexually violated. Over 3 million internally displaced persons, with 2 million living in camps for at least 10 years, across 11 districts of northern Uganda. Aware of the suffering in their communities, young people began mobilizing to influence a positive direction towards peace and recovery. Victor Ochen is a young war survivor who founded the African Youth Initiative Network, a human rights organization.
How I got the idea to create AYINET was when we were living during war and suffering. I think I was just sick and tired of my own suffering, and I said, if it's lack of peace that is making us to suffer, I should work for peace. So we feel like what we are doing now is how do we help mobilize the society that has seen so much trauma, become a society of hope, but also most importantly, to work with the new generation, the new seeds, the young people, to become actors and agents for peace. That's good.
Despite political difficulties, youth persisted with determination against distrust and limited resources to heal their communities. Seeing the distrust in his community from the war, Pakwao Stephen decided to mobilize his community in peace building.
I know them and their problems. In the morning, they go to the gardens, and afternoon, they are drunk. So mobilizing them was a problem. Paimol is very wide, and if I move from a place called Kamonojui to Lalu, is something of 6 kilometers, and from Lalu to Akwang is like 4 kilometers. It's a very good job because I like it working with my people.
Young people are creatively using advocacy tools to amplify victims' voices all over the world.
Collectively, our solidarity with war victims world over. I wish to applaud the Uganda Victims Foundation, UVF, and the African Youth Initiative Network.
It's a great honor and pleasure for me to participate and play in this war victims football match.
Medical reconstructive surgery was a dire need for victims who had suffered severe physical injuries during the conflict.
We see patients with multiple problems, retained bullets, splinters, retained splinters. We see patients also with swellings, where each month we are operating about over 200 patients.
The war experiences that victims underwent had a lasting impact on their mental health. For complete healing, psychological support is still needed to make recovery possible.
When we give them therapy on the problems that they have, they tend to change their thought patterns. They tend to change their behavioral problems, and then they adopt new coping mechanisms. So when they adopt these new coping mechanisms, we want to promote resilience in the coping mechanisms that they have adopted.
Over 21,000 mutilated victims of rape and torture have been treated by medical teams, and over 100,000 trauma support provided by psychosocial team.
The war had a devastating effect on women across the region. However, in seeking justice, the patriarchal traditions continue to exclude women. African Youth Initiative Network is creating equal opportunities for women to promote their engagement and leadership in seeking justice, peace, and reconciliation in Northern Uganda.
We formed women's associations in the communities. Then when you form these women's associations, we build their capacity on issues of referral pathways. We build their capacity on counseling skills, on how to attend to issues of GBV. And then we also train stakeholders in all these things.
I learned how to speak in the public. At the moment, I'm a female youth councillor of Lira Sub-County. I'm honorable, not just an ordinary person as people used to know.
Youth were used as tools of violence, deprived of opportunities, and faced displacement during the war. Post-conflict youth have become more susceptible to commit crime due to the trauma they endured.
These people, they came back from the bush, they were not rehabilitated well, sent to the community. So we came a lot across these people. But now, our task was now, some of them were already thieves, some of them they want to always fight, some of them, they're bad-mannered people.
During and after the war, African Youth Initiative Network improved the capacity of youth to become leaders, to resolve and mitigate conflicts, and game changers to promote peace, unity, and national reconciliation.
The approach which we're giving, to the community, bringing them for training, taking them for symposium whereby you bring different people from different tribes, and then they try to share the different cultures, the different tribes and norms.
The youth department has mobilized and trained tens of thousands of youth as leaders for peace and justice. These are the stories of some beneficiaries from the interventions over the past 13 years.
I had a big problem of land. The person I used to dig with would give me a lot of trouble. I did not know anything back then, and I was always very angry. Good enough, he was also in the same group, and we got the same trainings on conflict resolution. We then took an elder and agreed that to prevent further fights, he would show us the land boundaries, and then we would plant trees for demarcation. Up to now, we are digging side by side peacefully. That was the first benefit I got from AYINET.
The pain I had before is now gone. I received a lot of counseling and guidance on what to do with life and how to overcome the different challenges I had been through.
Where I've seen the change, I was not a leader in any way before. But when I got the leadership skills and training, the community entrusted me with a clan leadership role for the Atekawili clan. Secondly, in the last local council 1 elections, I contested but did not make it through. But the people still insisted that as they saw me capable, the votes would not hinder, and they made me the vice local council 1.
It has been such a great experience working with AYINET, and as local governments, the work that we are doing, we have a common, direction, and we are partnering. Like I've told you, AYINET, has the source to do medical rehabilitation.
We all want to live in peace. As Victor Ochen of AYINET has said.
Now, like many children in his community, Victor Ochen grew up without enough food or clothes.
We are back. You are watching
African Youth Initiative Network's work has attracted recognition and endorsements from distinguished high-profile personalities, institutions, governments, and partners across the globe.
Young people, many of you were born into conflict and told who your friends and enemies should be. But you are the vanguard of change. You are the leadership in waiting. You have the ability to bridge the violent past to a prosperous future.
I lived in conflict.
One of the most notable recognitions came in 2015 when the American Friends Service Committee jointly nominated African Youth Initiative Network and Victor Ochen for the Nobel Peace Prize.
I remember when the nomination came, the news was all over the world, but we're happy that our energy, instead of channeling it for destruction, we channel it for rebuilding, prevention, and recovery.
Despite the existing challenges, the contributions of these young people are making peace and justice a reality across the world.